What's up, guys? Spook here, and I got something really cool to show you here, guys, from my buddy Josh. There'll be a link in the description to a company called Hammer Threads where he sells his knives. He has a few that are just immaculate that are on there right now, guys. And what's unique about this is you could actually own this knife as well, because I have it to do some we'll say light field tests and just do a few things on social media, because he's just kind of getting into that now, and we're just friends, so I figured we would do a little thing together. I just show off some of the knife for you guys. And this is an immaculate knife, and it is once again a replica of the Nessmuks knife. And this was seen by now close to probably 10,000 people. When it comes down to it, in the last few days, people on Instagram, people from Facebook have seen this knife, and I got a whole bunch of direct messages, and other people had said that's the closest replica to George Washington Sears' actual knife that they had ever seen, because Josh made this knife off of a picture that was in one of George Washington's Sears' books, Nessmuks books. And he made it to basically spec as much as he could to that picture. So he actually used a crown bone, and he made it out of, this is made out of an old file, which is like a 1095 steel, high carbon steel, 90-degree spine. And he went off of things that were mentioned as much as he could off of that in that book. So everybody that saw it was like, man, that looks just like Nessmuks Knife. There's actually a really cool picture you can see on my Instagram, and I'll put a link to that picture in the description. And you guys could actually see that picture and see what I mean, because this actually next to that picture is just crazy. It looks just like it. And I got a new editor, guys, or else I put that in that picture in this video. I'm trying to figure it out. And but I'll put a link to that picture you can just click on it in the description. So it looks just like that knife, guys. But it is just beautiful. I used it to do some fire starting. I used it to do, today just did some curls on Instagram. And I mean, it just cuts like a dream. The 90-degree spine is super sharp. And it is in right down to the lanyard. Like I said, the history factor of it is off the charts, because even the lanyard that was in George Washington Sears' book, Josh has nailed that even to how that fits. So it's a great knife. It's not a huge knife, but the George Washington Sears, or Nessmuk, he wasn't a huge man, guys. He was 5'2", about 110-120 pounds. So it would stand to reason that he wouldn't have a gargantuan knife. His belt knife, I think Josh nailed it for the size-wise. So, but just a beautiful knife, guys, and the butcher style fashion. And just a quick rundown: George Washington Sears, if you haven't seen any of the other videos or my recent video on a bristle Nessmuk knife, is that he was a writer for Field and Stream magazine. And he actually went out and was one of the forefathers of ultralight camping. Because when people went out in the late 1800s, early 1900s, guys, they brought great big trunks and tea sets and huge baker tents and all this stuff, and that was camping, right? Well, he wanted to move along and go different places and get better views, and, you know, be able to, you know, to write different things and be able to do it in a different perspective. So all his kit had to fit in his canoe, and he could go further and further away afield than other people could. And he had what was called his Nessmuk trio, which was this knife. Basically, you're looking at it, pretty much the same knife that he had. A small folding knife, and then a double bit axe that had a sharpened edge for firewood, and then on the other side it was sharpened to be able to process meat. So those three items were his main toolkit, and he carried them and some other things you can read up on it that were making it so he could travel a lot further than a lot of the expedition people at the time were traveling. So that was a story about him. He was very cool, very ornery guy. He wanted to rely on the outdoors for his food. So he hunted, he fished, you know, he skinned game. He even had fur. Used to go and get fur to make money to be able to go on these trips, and obviously he made money for writing stories and things like that. The name Nessmuk came from a tribute to a native who had taught him a lot of his outdoor skills, and that fellow's name was Nessmuk. So he took that on as his pen name later on. But you're staring at a piece of history right here, guys. So if you are interested in this knife, you can get a hold of me on Instagram, and I could get a hold of Josh. I'm going to put a link to Josh's Instagram. You could ask him questions. He's a super nice guy, easily accessible. So you could check out his link to Scout Post on Instagram and see some of his other beautiful work that he does and inquire about owning this or some of his other cool knives. He has another Otzi the Iceman knife right now. He has a marbles replica. He's made a lot of history recreated knives. So just go from there. He could probably do that for you and make your own touch, or replicate a knife that was from history like he has with this Nessmuk. And I gotta grab the sheath, guys, because I knocked it out of my pocket. This was on my belt. There we go, guys. But he even said to me, which is crazy, but he said disregard the sheath, which is a beautiful sheath that he made, because a lot of his sheaths are a lot more ornate. I know what he means, but to me it's an adequate, beautiful sheath that comes with this knife. And like I said, but he makes some other really beautiful ornate sheaths. So I know what he meant by that, but this is a very adequate, beautiful sheath. Fits the knife great. And I've been wearing it on my belt every day since I got it, because like I said, I've been, using it, field testing it. It's got snow on the side of it now. But just have a look at this, guys. Just beautiful, beautiful bone. And it's called a crown bone. And that is actually how Nessmuk had his knife. And from everybody I talked to, guys, this basically is, pretty much an exact replica of what he carried. So if you're out in the woods carrying this, if you can channel him, who is a great outdoorsman, you're channeling him with that same tool set. It's great in hand. I love the lanyard. The lanyard actually does fit the knife really well as far as using the lanyard. It's just a heck of a great package, guys. So, and absolutely beautiful. So this is a knife, like I said, it's made of 1095, made of a file, the blade. So you can go out and use it every day as your everyday knife for all your bushcraft stuff. Or if you're somebody that just collects knives, obviously you've got about the closest thing to Nessmuks knife you can get. So this was just a quick video, guys, to show you this. Check out my Instagram, and Josh is in the description, and Hammer Thread's website. He has other knives for sale if this doesn't tickle your fancy. He has other ones I believe would, and they're all fairly priced for handmade knives, guys. You got to realize that. Handmade knife, handmade sheath, something that you're going to be able to pass on to generations of your family. And if you're into recreations or anything, you're going to have one of the best knives you can get for that. So anyway, guys, Spook signing out. I want you to stay safe out there. It's cold out. Be safe when you're out and about. And if you're interested in one of Josh's knives, click the link in the description, get a hold of him. Even if you want to get a hold of me and ask some questions first, go right ahead. So, great knife. Anyway, guys, stay safe. Check this out, and you won't be sorry to check out Josh's work. Take it easy, guys.